Welcome to the Talking Sport Report podcast with Scotty and Ego.
Unbelievable! Yes, we are back. It's episode 6. Can you believe it? 6. This has been probably way more committed than you've ever been to anything in your life, Scotty. You've made it through 6 episodes of the Talking Sport Report podcast.
This is uncharted territory for us, isn't it?
Very much so.
I'm sure. Hey, I'm just going to say, and I know it's a podcast, so viewing's really not the necessity, but I love the fact that you're rocking the bone there. Or is that the ivory? The white, the off-white, the beige?
Yeah.
Channeling your inner Richie. I'm proud of that, mate. Well done.
Well, 2 for 22. Now, I thought that tonight one of the big stories we're going to cover is the World Test Championship, which starts Wednesday night. So why wouldn't you just rock the Richie Beno ivory, the bone, the off-white?
What? Ivory or the beige? I like it.
And just get Test cricket ready because, I mean, you know, we're not far away from the Ashes either. So, and let's be honest, in Australia, it is fucking cold right now.
Yeah, you're not wrong. You are definitely right. Mate, beautiful. It's a fantastic weekend of sport. I reckon you and I have a fair bit to cover off.
We actually do. We've got so much. And comment club later, we have got around like 11 or 12 comments to get to. And I can say there's a couple of brilliant digs at Scotty. You got to give us 15 minutes or so and we'll get to comment club. Basically, anyone who comments on any of our social posts gets a mention in the podcast the following week. We'll get to them soon and go over those. There's some brilliant ones. We're also going to cover the NHL Finals. But let's kick it off with the NRL. And this week, I mean, last week we were saying NRL is a circus. This week, NRL is just a place of fantasies.
Couldn't believe
there has just been fantasies being lived, fairy tales and fantasies being lived out everywhere all over this beautiful game of rugby league that we love here in Australia.
It all started with that absolute, I'll be honest, shit show in Newcastle on Thursday night.
Yes.
Like, in all honesty, I said to a few of the boys Thursday night at halftime, get on the Knights live. Paying $21.
Really? You called it?
$21 at halftime. But mate, those boos, I don't know if they were amplified on that coverage, but they were intense. Yeah. But the best part was they can boo all they want. They still stuck around. Like, hats off.
That's true. Well,
freaking cold.
The one thing you don't do is piss off. There's 2 ways you can piss off a Newcastle crowd. Very provocative. You don't want to get in the road of their beer, and you don't want to put in a piss poor performance. And let's be fair, that was a shocking 40 minutes of football. And for anyone who doesn't know, my side is the Newcastle Knights. Scotty's side is Manly. We do share the 1997 grand final as a fantastic moment in history where the Knights did beat the Sea Eagles.
Yeah, it's brilliant. That's great.
In later years, it's just been all the Eagles. You've been pumping us each week, so it was a weird one going down into that half time. Going, this is just going to be another bloodbath, and turned out to be a great game. The other interesting thing to take out of this weekend is the Origin sides have just been basically all but announced. They come out tomorrow morning from Queensland's point of view. I know that New South Wales sometimes come through tonight. So when you listen to this podcast, you're going to hear or know which players have made the sides. But we've got some pretty good intel. And by intel, we've basically read some fantastic websites that not are our own. And we believe we've got the right intel to talk about who's going to make these sides.
Well, I'm glad actually that you've also done your research, because I'm looking at a projected Queensland side here that is completely different to, I think, the one you've looked at, which is great.
Yeah.
Because
so what are you thinking? Who's let's start with Queensland, because they're the one. I kind of feel like New South Wales is going to be steady as she goes. There'll be a replacement in the forwards, but that's about it, just through injury. So what do you think in Queensland wise?
What do you think about the potential of DCE gone? Now, cast back a couple of weeks ago.
You played shoot, shag and marry, and you said you married Daly Cherry Evans.
That is true, but I'm almost certain the stat that I read a few weeks back was Dearden has played 27, at that point had played 27 games at halfback and had lost 25 of them. This is a huge play for New South Wales. I reckon New South Wales will be stoked with this.
That's not bad.
I would love to see that number for losses increase. That would be amazing. Wrap it up in Perth. go back to Sydney basically in party mode. Well,
then you just pick whoever you want for New South Wales. Do you just pick a party team for the final game of the year if the Blues win in Perth?
Send out the 17s for all we care. Like, I mean, it'd be fantastic because when you look at this side, or I guess the talent of players they got to pick from, this is like a team for the future. This is something that New South Wales can look at and just go, we could have this core side for the next 4 or 5 years. I mean, we had the heartbreak of Queensland winning like 4,978 freaking series in a row. I just rounded up. But
I think it was actually more than that.
Yeah, it'd be nice for New South Wales to actually have a side that the core doesn't really change. That would be fantastic. But
do you know the most amazing thing, Scotty, is my daughter turned 2 this year.
Mm-hmm.
So she has only known New South Wales victories. Now, I love that because I remember there was like some kid who was like 16 who had only ever had Queensland. Now, she's got a long way to go to get to that point, but I think that's a pretty good statement, right? She's only seen Blues wins.
That is fantastic. Well, hopefully we can tick another one off this year. I don't see many changes in that New South Wales side, besides obviously the big one with the injury to Mitch Barnett. Yeah. They reckon Max King's going to come in and start, and big Stefano Utokumanu from, I believe, Melbourne. He's going to slot into that side.
Do you reckon he's happy he left the Tigers?
I mean, isn't everyone?
Yeah. Lockie Galvin is getting ready to put his boots on for tomorrow's game, and he's just thinking, "No, this is great." I hate an orange.
I can't see many changes. The big one's going to be Queensland. I mean, Reece Walsh came out with a statement game over the weekend.
Oh, did he ever?
I feel like Billy Slater's in a bit of a predicament, but it's a good one to be in. Let's see how
accurate we are. So we're right now, people listening to this podcast have the side in front of them. So we're saying that Reece Walsh is in the squad. We don't know if Pong is out. I feel like Pong is still going to get selected after he ripped Manly's heart out with his bare hands on the weekend. How could you drop that guy? Maybe at halftime, Billy was going to drop him, and then at full time, he put him back in the squad.
But the question is, who does Walsh come in for?
Well, I think he comes in for Ponga. I think he goes to the number 1. I don't think Ponga played well enough to keep the number 1 jersey.
Okay, that's fair. Do you use him as a utility then?
That's the question, because with Dearden replacing DCE all but guaranteed now, they're saying Munster the captain. I know Tino, fresh off getting his ass handed to them by the Broncos on the weekend, has got a sternum injury. So they're saying he was a potential for the captaincy. Harry Grant, another one, but they reckon Munster's got it.
Hartledge, either. Yeah. 6-1, half a dozen the other. Yeah, Munster, I think, is a good shout, to be honest with you. But I don't think DC was a problem in game 1. I think Munster was.
Well, to be quite fair, there was probably 17 of them that was the issue.
Yeah, that's a good point.
There wasn't really many that played that well. I mean, we joked about it. The man of the match for Queensland was Cleary with missing 7 kicks.
Yeah. But then there's the other thing. Like, if you're going to use Ponga as a utility, do you drop Kurt Mann?
Well, that's the issue, right? I mean, Kurt it's fantastic. It'd be hard not to. Well, the other rumor is Kurt Capewell was not selected for game 1, and I don't think game 3 last year. He didn't get on the plane to go home to New Zealand after they smashed the Sharks this weekend.
Yeah, so you could be looking too much into that. He could have just had a big night and missed the flight.
Celebrating, yeah, that's true. Well, there is a lot of there's a track record of rugby league players celebrating very hard in Cronulla.
Well, just look, at the end of the day, if no one's pissing in their own mouth, I think it's a win across the board. We're all good. We're all good. Shout out to our mate Todd Carney. Hope you're listening,
Speaking of partying too hard, isn't it funny? After 3 games, the other one they're saying is happening. Peter Bedell of the Courier Mail in Queensland is claiming that Ezra Mam is going to be called back into a 20-man squad 3 games after returning from drug driving. Nothing says, congratulations, mate, well played. Then here's another 10 grand for the next set of bags you want to buy.
Mate, if
You
that's not an
serious?
absolute piss take, mate, here you go. Hey, we're going to reward you. You're so
Yeah.
ethical. You're such a role model for the kids. We're going to bring you back in. Take this
Yeah.
extra cash. Go buy yourself a couple of 8 balls. Celebrate hard, mate. How's his form? Claiming people are booing him because of the race situation. Pull your head in. I'm not buying it.
Unbelievable.
I will be completely. I'll be shocked if he's selected, and if he is, I hope he costs them the game. I really
It's
do.
not a good look for the game, though. I think everyone deserves another chance, but I've just got a feeling that you don't have that kind of thing happen and then go, oh, by the way, now you're going to be called into representative, thing. I think people like that should be, at least stopped from playing representative for a little while.
After
Unless, of course,
3
it's going to be the
games.
Queensland supplier for the for the Perth trip.
Do you know the best part? It's in Perth, so he doesn't have to worry about driving anywhere. So he'll get a lift to the airport. Well, I've just had a look at this stage. There's still no confirmed New South Wales side.
Okay.
I do think with us having a game tomorrow, it will hit tomorrow afternoon at full time.
Yeah. I mean, the way they kind of work it, and this is a long weekend for New South Wales and Victoria in Australia. Queensland don't get that. They've got theirs later in the year, I think. But the way they kind of always have worked it, they don't drop the sides until the final game of football plays. So we'll probably get it tomorrow night, maybe both sides, unless Tuesday for Queensland. But you'd think, considering that it's literally a week Wednesday, they'll drop them tomorrow night after the full-time siren in Bulldogs
100%.
and Eels.
Yeah, I agree. I do agree.
A couple of really interesting reasons why the NRL has been all about fairy tales. We talked about Reece Walsh having a fantastic game. This has been one of the biggest conundrums I've seen for a while. The Broncos are almost everyone's most hated side, unless you are a Broncos fan. So, everyone will pretty much put the Broncos as their number one most hated if they're not a Broncos fan. Yet, on the weekend, I think they happened to rock the greatest jersey of all time.
Wasn't that a fantastic jersey? It's like, you sons of a bitches. I really hate you, but goddamn, you guys look good in that.
I almost thought about buying one, and I couldn't think of anything worse than to buy a Broncos jersey, but I want one. And for people who don't know, it was blacked out. So it was for Black Dog, for a mental health round. Initiative for the Broncos. So they basically blacked out the whole jersey. So everything was black. The logos were black. Everything was black. They looked like the All Blacks. And they did. Such a beautiful jersey. And everyone's like, damn, they nailed the shit out of that.
Yeah, you bastards. God damn it. You know what? I agree with you. It'd be worth looking at, because keeping it in the cupboard, don't tell anyone, pull it out once every so often and just have a bit of a look, dust it off, but don't tell a soul.
Would it be for special time with the wife? Babe, I'll get the Broncos jersey out.
God, no, it'd be special time by yourself.
Yeah, that's
light some candles, put some Anya on, chuck that black jersey on and get all cozy.
The other good thing about it is because it's all blacked out, you can't really tell it's a Broncos jersey, can you, unless you're right up close? But then again, it's become pretty obvious. Maybe every side should take note and every side should do what is Black Dog going to be doing now? They should go to every side and say, do a round for us and do this jersey become like a thing.
Yeah.
How cool would that be if every jersey around the league could chance to do this for mental health? Incredible awareness for mental health.
It's not a bad call.
Jersey.
Do it over the course of 2 weekends. So half the comp can wear it this weekend and the other half get to do their own next weekend. That way.
License to print money.
100%. They'd sell out like that. Because, admit it, there's been some shockers in the time that we've seen. I know, for example, I've got a Manly Wolverine jersey in there. Doesn't see the light of day because that looks like a Parramatta jersey. I've still got it.
At least know your competition before you make a jersey.
Yeah, exactly right. But in saying that, then, hit me. Have you got a personal favourite of your own?
Yeah, mine is actually this year. The Knights rocked for Anzac Day the traditional Newcastle Rugby League jerseys. And if you haven't seen it, it's basically like that, tealy green on top, not quite army green, white in the middle, and then brown, army brown at the bottom. And it was for Anzac Day. And it was the traditional Newcastle Rugby League jersey. It is so special. And because I'm a tight ass, I'm going to wait to the end of the year
when it's
till it goes on
$70.
sale, and I'll buy it then. But I've got to buy that jersey. What about yourself?
Surprisingly, not a Manly one.
Oh.
I absolutely love Penrith's pink. I do.
Yeah, no, that's good.
I do. I just think it looks classy. Grown men rocking pink. There should be more of it. I do.
On
I
the
think
other side of that, the downside for them being sponsored by Oak is they've got to rock the chocolate jersey that looks like literally poo.
it's literally been washed in shit before they've chucked it on. So yeah, with the good comes the bad, I guess. Like take it as you will. But yeah, what a weekend, and a big shout out to big Josh Papali'i.
What a machine.
Massive. Like what? All-time leading games now for Canberra.
319.
And
that's a lot, isn't it?
That's massive, considering that there's some players out there that bust their ass through school and never even get a look in. 319, and then what a performance today. Not only did he score the double, but slotted a perfect conversion.
Yeah.
He struck that so well.
He's lucky he's not a New South Welshman, because we'd be bringing him back in the side to kick goal for New South Wales. But having said that, wouldn't he he would not look out of place in a Queensland jersey. I know he's kind of said he doesn't want to be playing Origin anymore, but after getting pumped in Brisbane, do you send out the SOS and bring the big fella back in for game 2? Jeez, he's a good player.
That's yeah, I don't know. That's actually something to look at. I guess it all depends how game 2 plays out. Maybe look at him for game 3. It wouldn't hurt if they're coming in 2-0 down.
Yeah.
He's hoping anyway.
It's been a good run. Good week of rugby league. And I guess the next thing we want to talk about tonight is story number 2. The World Test Championship is about to kick off.
Mm-hmm.
So that's on Wednesday, Scotty.
Love a good bout of cricket. 5 days, hopefully 5 days. It depends. It
feels weird, doesn't it, playing cricket in this time of year, because we're so used to it being summer. But why not take a bit of English summer?
It's strange as well. Like, I've had a look at both squads, as you have. I don't know any of these South African players. Like, and in saying that, it's when we've come through a time where you knew your shark colours, you knew your AB de Villiers, like old mate Hansi Cronje.
Don't you miss characters like that?
Oh, mate, it's I look at this side and no, nothing. I'm not even going to read it out because there's names here that I wouldn't even know how to pronounce. But then Australia's 15 players squad, I don't see much youth in it at all. But it'll be good. Steve Smith just needs 50 runs to become, I think it's the all-time leading run scorer at Lords as a visiting batsman. Talk about owning the Poms. That's fantastic.
What a game to bring it up in. You're taking on the sandpaper foe. South Africans, if they've got Warner in commentary and they've got Steve Smith knocking up his 55 against the South African, wow.
Yeah.
What a beautiful picture to paint.
What's your thoughts? What's your 11 for the Aussies? Because it's a good 15-man squad.
It's a 15-man squad. You got to look at who. I think it's easy to go the other way. Who are the 4 people missing out? And when you look at it, you got to say Hazelwood has just come off literally bowling the house down. He's just won the IPL. He made Kohli cry. That guy never cries. That guy's angry when his mum calls. I feel like he's the most fieriest competitor in the world. He made him cry because he took 22 wickets over the IPL, bowled like an absolute legend. He's got to be in the side. So then you say Scotty Boland's out, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's not the MCG anyway.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's not a road.
Exactly right. Exactly.
We are at Lords. So you got to say Boland's, put a line through him. Then you got to say that Nathan Lyon, yeah? He's going to get picked?
100%. Got a spinner.
So Kuhneman's
there
out?
He is. Yep, 100%.
Who's the other 2 that miss out?
Usman Khawaja's going to open.
Yeah.
Who's going to open with him?
Well, the rumours are it's Marnus Labuschagne.
Mate, that guy can't buy a run at the moment. Like,
is he? He's probably an opener off being in every position in the batting lineup in the last 6 months.
do you know, this takes me back to when you and I last played cricket together, and I took out the batting average that year with an average of 16. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty
Did we
sure
win the
I
comp
had-
that year?
We came close. We came close. I'm pretty sure I got a better average that year than Marnus has at the moment.
Oh shit, that's going back some.
And they're
Were
going
we that bad? Were we that bad that you had a 16? What was the reason?
I
Did we
don't
play all the
know.
games?
I'm not sure, but I remember it coming like
It's
a nice beer
atrocious.
glass. Yeah, it is. It's nothing to brag about. It's like if you're going to post that on socials to brag, you're covering up the 16. You're just owning the fact that it's the batting average. We're getting off track here. So, well, if Marnus is going to open, then Constas is out.
Yeah.
So that's true. That's 1, 2,
3. And then Webster. Webster won't play because Cameron Green's back. And you got to pick Cam Green, right? I mean,
guy's 7 foot tall with arms like an octopus. He's everywhere.
Right. He's a Weet-Bix kid. I saw him all summer as a Weet-Bix kid, yet I never seen him bowl a single ball. Surely he's going to be back for this test.
He's I'm actually just having a look here. He's God, he looks like a sheepish child, doesn't he? Cam Green. I hope he comes out. I hope he scores 100. I'm calling it. He's going to score a ton. He's going to score a ton.
Well, we are Australian, so I hope I hope Marnus goes out and scores 200.
He's up, mate. Slow down. Let's just focus on him getting off the mark. And then we'll go from there. Well,
maybe the way they're thinking of it is he's always very busy at the crease. At least if you send him out there at opener, they can then just go, well, just go out there and just be busy out there and just leave us the hell alone in this dressing shed. Just pissing everyone off and pestering everybody the whole game.
Bit of peace
just
and
get
quiet.
him out there and bowl a couple of bounces at him to start him off. Just get him out there. That'll be an interesting game, though. So that's Wednesday. And then we've got the Ashes coming up real soon too, right? That's this year.
Yeah, that's in, November. But you know what it's like. Every year, time's just going quicker. So it'll be here before we know it. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out because then, got to remember too, we win this, we'll go back to back.
First time. My daughter has only ever seen Australian World Test Championship winners.
How good is this? She's killing it.
She's on fire.
Absolutely killing it.
She's a good luck charm. She's a good luck charm.
Well, do you know what? There's one other thing that we could potentially push as 2 for 2. And that is, because I'm moving on right now, NHL Stanley Cup. Right, so we've got Florida Panthers.
This is the finals. This is the big game.
Just like basketball, just like Major League Baseball, they have a best of 7.
Yeah, okay.
Best of 7.
So game 1 is coming up.
No, it's 1-1.
Oh shit, we're at
Okay. It's 1-1. Yeah. So Florida Panthers, Edmonton Oilers. It's
and the Oilers, are they the ones that shut the bed? They shut the bed last year. Weren't they like the number 1 side all year? Then got bowled out in the first, like they got bustled out in the first round.
Well, my thing is, I'm just looking.
Have I thrown you? Have I stumped you?
No, you haven't stumped me. But I told you I was going somewhere. We're going 2 for 2 for your daughter.
Oh, of course.
If Florida Panthers win, they'll go back to back.
There you go.
Your daughter,
she's a Florida Panthers score.
She'll only ever seen one, of the Stanley Cup.
Wow.
But yeah, it's fantastic though. Like whether you're into the sport or not, you can watch it knowing that you're in for some fast pace, some big hits. And really, it doesn't take much for them boys to get angry and just throw gloves off.
Yeah.
They
do throw some punches.
Yeah, you're right.
As a real traditionalist, which one is Goldberg?
I don't think you're going to get many knuckle pucks in a Stanley Cup.
Serious?
In all honesty, if you're tuning in to Game 3 on Tuesday at 10 o'clock, don't hold your breath for a flying V, please. There's going to be no Gordon Banks. There's going to be no Bombay. Like
the greatest movies growing up, right? The Mighty Ducks. And then when you're a kid, when you realize that this is actually a real side, and then you go watch the real side play on a weekend, and they've always been shithouse.
Yeah, they're terrible.
They've basically never been good.
Actually,
did Anaheim actually do any well this year? The good old Mighty Ducks, or are they still as bad as that?
I'm just having a bit of a
Was their
look.
best ever run in a make believe movie?
No, well, they did win a Stanley Cup nearly 20 years ago.
Yeah, so it's been a while.
But no, I wouldn't say that.
Was that actually Goldberg? Was that when they won the Stanley Cup? Was it actually?
You're right. They have been pretty shit. The Ducks. Yeah. Their last division championship was 12 years ago. So you're onto something here. Maybe they do need the flying V or a few knuckle pucks thrown in there. Because you can't get any freaking worse, I'm telling you.
So who's your tip?
To be perfectly honest, both teams have won a Stanley Cup at least in the past, but I would like to see Florida go back to back. Like, in all honesty, you think about Florida, you're not thinking about snow, ice, cold weather. So it's always good to see a team, I guess, buck the trend in what's expected. Like you think
the Jamaican bobsled team.
You think about it straight away. Someone turns to you and talks about ice hockey, you're going to think of Canada.
Yeah.
To have a team from Florida that finished third, excuse me, in their division, massive, absolutely massive. So I'd like to see Florida win it. Both games have been tight, 5-4. Florida won the last one, game 2, and Edmonton won game 1, 4-3. So we can probably check back in next Sunday night with hopefully a winner, definitely a win, and go from there.
Beautiful. A couple of other interesting stories we should just quickly touch on before we move on to Comment Club and our Give Us a Goat. It sucks to be a coach, doesn't it?
Oh, mate.
Now, these two stories didn't make the top 3 lists this week, but after last week, Scotty death road ends Postecoglou after he won silverware. He gets sacked through the week. Scotty, this is brutal. There's players revolting over this.
Yeah, it is pretty bad when you come out and you achieve something that no one has done in 17 years to then lose your job. Like, do you know what I mean? That's massive. That's like you come in and achieve something massive for the company you work for, and then they just turn around and say, well done, mate. You've done amazing. There's the door. Don't let it hit you
exactly. And that's exactly what it is, because it is a job. This is not like, I know we look at sport differently, but this is an actual Monday to Friday job, or Monday to Sunday job for Ange. And
but, look, think about it. He's going to get his contract paid out.
Yep.
And he's probably going to walk straight into another job, whether it be a merry-go-round where Bournemouth's manager goes to Tottenham and Ange comes in and takes his job, or whether Ange goes back to his level, which was Scotland or Japan, he's going to find another job.
How many managers have Chelsea had in the last 10 years? Surely they're ready for another one, aren't they?
I don't think. I don't know. I just don't think Ange has it in him. For Tottenham I even thought Tottenham was his level, but clearly he was out of his depth.
Well, no, he wasn't. He won silverware, Scotty. He won silverware, and quite frankly, until Aston Villa win anything more than a fucking spoon,
you've got
it up your butt.
Yeah, you've got a point. I know, you're right. You're right. No, I accept that. He'll find his feet. It's just a question of where he's going to end up. He's getting a big payday anyway. Just take it.
Well, you're not going to see him at the Centrelink line on Monday, but he may be back in Australia all too soon, or maybe back in Japan or something like that, or as you said, over in Scotland or something like that. But yeah, it's sad to see him as an Aussie, even though you've keyed his car and the whole lot. I still think it's sad to see an Aussie do well and then get sacked for doing a good job. But I love to see the players rally around. It means he had the locker room. They obviously all loved him. And they all rallied around him. The other one that was really interesting was the NBA. So my side, the New York Knicks, lost in the conference final to the Indiana Pacers, who have just come out now in the finals and have beaten OKC in game 1. Halliburton this playoffs has turned into Michael Jordan. Like the guy was not even inside the top 10 draft pick, has just become just a beast. And that's game 2 is tomorrow, Australian time, Monday. But Tom Thibodeau basically takes the Knicks to 3 playoffs in a row. This year takes them to the conference finals. Every year has gotten better and better and better. And after the conference finals, like, you know what? We'll see you later, buddy.
Yeah.
You're sacked.
That's unbelievable.
Outrageous.
I mean, look, and I know we've spoken about this over the last few weeks, but you guys coming to Boston and doing what you did. Even you said to me prior to that series that, hey, we're going to get absolutely destroyed. It's just nice to be there. To go to Boston and do what you've done and then turn around and say, hey, you've done a fantastic job the last few years. There's the door, buddy. Like, I don't understand it.
It's outrageous.
It's so crazy.
Let's move on to the comment club.
It's time for comment club. Normally I ignore all the comments. I get a lot of them. I've got to get paid for this crap.
Thank you, Donald Trump. The comment club is back. So the way it works is if you want to leave a comment on any one of our socials at Talkin' Sport, we are on TikTok, we're on Instagram, and we're on YouTube. Plus, you can also leave comments on Spotify in this podcast. While you're there, leave us a 5-star review. Email us anytime, talkingsportreport@gmail.com. This is where we go through the comments from the last week of stories that we've got up, and we've got some beauties tonight for you. The first one was basically off the back of you, Scotty, talking about the EPL finishing up, and you needed 80 games or 80 days worth of something to do so you wouldn't have to talk to your family.
Yep.
You need that out. And Nature's 16 has come in. Legend of a bloke, can I just say? Legend of a bloke, former turkey, a gobbler up in Brisbane. He writes, video games, Scotty, video games.
That's brilliant, actually. I do like that. Shout out, actually. He was, I met that man. I did. Top bloke. And I tell you what, if a comment like that, if a suggestion like that's coming from him, I might take that on board. I might be terrible at it, but I'll give it a try.
Legend of a man. Thank you, sir.
Brilliant.
Now, from CCHH_AADD. So Chad is basically how it's put out. Chad has written, and now this is a man who we played cricket with back in the day. He's written a couple of comments this week, but his first comment is this one. Can someone tell me why my nan's tea cozy pom-pom is on Scotty's head? Referring to your pink dye in the top of your hairline.
That's brilliant, actually. I'll pay that. I've got nothing. Yeah, keep moving. I want to know what his other ones are. Who let this man free with a keyboard, for Christ's sake?
I didn't know he could spell, to be fair. I didn't know he could spell. He's doing really well. The next comment, Mr. Smith _13, which would be your cousin. It's an all-family affair tonight. Loving the content, lads. Just remember, when you boys blow up / make it, I was here first. I think out of the two of you, I prefer Ego as a mate over Scootus McGlutus.
You know what? He's not wrong, to be honest. At the end of the day, if given the option to have a beer with yourself or me, I wouldn't be surprised.
Oh, you're picking you every day of the week, Scotty. Not even I'd have a beer with me. As boring as they come.
Well, the only reason I was going for a beer with you as opposed to a beer with me, you've said it yourself. I wouldn't shout if a shark bit me.
That's actually very true. I would shout. I'm a generous shouter. I'm probably too generous a shouter.
Actually, that's a good one. And just so people know, we are not paying our family to leave comments. They're doing this off their own back. Just so you're aware.
While I think of it, I've had a couple of in-person comments this week at family dinner. John Scrow and Joey Scrow both tonight said, "Oh, is the podcast on later tonight?" I said, "Yeah." And they said, "Oh, what's happening on the show?" I gave them a full rundown of what was happening. Yeah. And John said, and John has been, now give John credit. John has listened to every single episode. So big shout out to John. He's killing it. He's ready for Comment Club.
That's fantastic. I thought you were going to say you've given them a rundown on what's happening on the show, and one of them's just turned around and gone, "Yeah, I might give this one a miss, boys."
No. They're all in. They're all in. So
fantastic.
Good on those guys. Now, another comment, another video we put up through the week was basically my wife gave me some feedback to shut up and come to bed. She's written back on that thing saying, you know it. A battle against me would be a hard one to beat. After Scotty basically said you'd knock Echo out.
Yeah, dead set. It'd be the Italian fire for sure. Yeah, she would dead set own you.
She would, yeah. She, yeah. Fiery one, that's for sure. NG Bays, our man NG Bays, who's just a behemoth on TikTok. I think he's got around 50,000 followers himself. He writes in, lovely message from this man. Big love. You both are destined for greatness. I can just feel it. I can tell by you guys' energy that you're actually genuine. Can't wait to see you blow up. I'm here for it, fam. What a legend of a bloke.
That is fantastic. I've honestly, I can't comment on that. Everything
I just wrote back
amazing.
Eggplant and then the water emoji.
That is the best reply you could have possibly
I didn't have it in me to do that, but I should have. It's all those things in hindsight.
That's great.
Ripe also comment. Ripe's a great guy. He's been commenting the last few weeks. He wrote, I agree. Hope you guys make it big. He later then said, who's winning the NBA Finals? I would have said OKC, but it feels like the Pacers. It's going to be an interesting series. Like, basically, we're saying that this is going to be the worst ratings of all time. It could actually be one of the best finals of all time. So it sucks if you don't want to watch it because it's actually friggin' awesome.
Yeah. I know what you'll be doing at 10 o'clock tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of work. If anyone's listening.
That's a long weekend.
Workplace. Yeah. Oh, that's a good point. Yes. Again, a lot of work. If my wife is listening, I'll be mopping the kitchen floor from the back shed. Yeah.
The basketball line. Legend.
Ben Parsons, who's a man I used to work with back in the day, he goes, I'm very worried that this is appearing in my feed. Who did I upset at TikTok?
See, I like that one as well. That's good.
Yeah. Apologies to you, sir. Over on YouTube, we had Stephen Miller write, basically, we were saying that Lockie Galvin is a hero because he was taking a pay cut to basically play for the Bulldogs. So what a legend. When was the last time you took a pay cut, Scotty?
Exactly.
For your workplace, and I know your boss listens. And Stephen Miller says, I wouldn't say he's a hero, but I'd say he's a genuine player who just wants to be able to enjoy his footy. And I guess we'll find out tomorrow if he does lace them up.
Well said.
And plays like a busted ass. Will they boo him? I mean, who knows?
No,
the Parramatta fans definitely will.
I agree with that. He's got a good point. Seems like a kid that just wants to go out and play football for heaps of money. Heaps more than he's on now. Yeah, to be on a huge contract and be never to worry about working again. Exactly.
And the final one tonight is from Chad yet again. This was only a few hours ago. He jumped on and he wrote, can we get one of you each week to pick a random unknown sport to report on? How's this? Chad's actually being helpful. I like this.
And
he's a good man.
Yeah, here I was telling him to, whoever's looking after him, whoever is his carer, take the keyboard away. But that's brilliant, actually.
Yeah.
I
think that'd be awesome
right now.
I think that's a good one.
All right. I'm having a look at this.
Right, this could be something for next week. And we're about to start a new segment.
Small.
Yeah, we're about to start a new segment. So what if we found a unique sport for our next segment that you have to do a top 5 goats of? Which would be pretty funny if you got no idea about this sport that we've never heard of. But that's definitely one for the board. Let's have a think about that through the week. And great response, Chad. That could be in Comment Club next week, or it might even be in our next segment, which we're about to start now. Are you ready for your big segment, Scotty?
Yes, 100%. Let's do it. What do you call it? It's got a good name.
It's time to give us your goat.
Give us your goat.
Fantastic. I love it. All right. So what are we covering off this week? You're going for my top 5 cricketers.
Yeah,
perfect timing.
The thing that's happening across a lot of social media channels right now, people are picking their goat. So their best. So I thought, you know what? That's an interesting topic. I think each week Scotty should come in, we'd name a different sport, and you give us who you think are your top 5 of all time leading into your GOAT. Yeah, do you want to start at number 5? We're doing cricket because I thought good timing. Ashes coming up, but this World Test Series starting on Wednesday night.
This is tough This was actually a lot of fun and a bit. I don't know. There was more to it than I anticipated. It wasn't just a straight up and down. Yep, these are the 5, because there's a lot to take in. Now, this is mine. It might be controversial to some. It may, because I'll be honest.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
No.
I like it.
Don Bradman's not in my list. The game has evolved
The
too
top
much.
5?
No, he's not. No, I've gone for modern day. Modern.
Okay, I'll let you pass, but your list has just become really piss poor if you haven't got the Don in there. But that's fair. No, I'll hit you out. Let's hit you out.
All right, 5. I'm coming in. Adam Gilchrist. Only because
5 of all time.
he changed what a wicketkeeper batsman is. He changed.
Give you that.
In all honesty,
Yeah,
when
I'll
was
give
the
you that.
last time Ian Healy went out to bat and you're like, yes, here we go, we're going to get some runs here?
Oh no,
Never.
The different thing was the way Ian Healy used to poke his ass out when he batted. I always thought that was going to get hit. It was always fun to watch.
That's really good.
The lowest stance I've ever seen a man have. I guess he was kind of wicket keeping during his batting. He was just stuck in a formation that he had to continue with his batting. He stuck his ass out a long way. All right, so Gilchrist at 5. You brought me around on that one. That's not a bad pick.
This one, I've just realised it's quite a heavy batting list. So number 4, AB de Villiers.
Okay.
Yeah. Test and ODI didn't average less than 50 at the end of his career.
Yeah. He's been awesome. He's such a great fielder.
Yeah. That, and I don't know. I thought he was fantastic. Good fielder, wicketkeeper batsman, scored some runs, broke some hearts. He's coming in at number 4.
Yeah,
now,
wow. So you have maybe like
where-
someone like Graham Smith as your ultimate South African of all time?
Personally, 100%. I don't like Graham Smith. His head, it was too much like a Lego head. It was too much of a box.
It was a block.
Yeah.
No, you're right there.
It's tough because my top 3, I just want to throw out my top 3 in no particular order then. Now, I know you said that I'm going in with a goat.
So how are you going to pick a goat then?
Right,
you're picking a 3-headed goat, are you?
No, I picked it. I picked me goat. So in no particular order, the 3 and 2.
Yep.
Brian Lara and Sachin Tendulkar.
2 of the greats.
Yeah,
2 of the greats.
100%.
And if you would have said, which is going to be interesting to see what your number 1 is, but if you have either of those at the top, I'm not complaining at all. They are 2 of the best of all time. Incredible. Like Lara, although the fact that he scored so many runs and so many big knocks, that's what made him just so special. And once he had his eye in, it was like, goodbye. Like, he's going to score as many runs as he wants.
Isn't he the first cricketer to score 500 in an innings?
Did he score? Was it domestic, was it? I don't know if he scored 500 in a test game, did he? I think it was 400 was his highest, wasn't it?
Yeah, no, you're right. It was 501 not out in a domestic game.
Domestic.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he scored 400 the most. He's the most player to ever score 400 multiple times.
Yeah, that's true. Yes. And then Sachin, little wizard, like absolute genius.
Little master.
Yeah. And not that I've never met the guy, but apparently just a really genuine bloke.
Yeah.
Like at the end of the day, I'd have a beer with Sachin. I wouldn't shout.
You wouldn't. Yeah, that doesn't really mean anything. You wouldn't shout if your mother was there. The one thing about him, he definitely won a lot of people over at the end of his career too when he came out to Australia. I know he played a couple of the bushfire appeal games for Australia. And he came, those Australian relief games. And I remember watching him play that game. It was like Ricky Ponting was playing and all that. And oh man, he's just it was like a good few years after he retired, still could hit.
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
Just that cover drive was just so picturesque the way he hit that ball. Man,
a few
stuff of view porn that is.
A few.
Don't you feel like sometimes like sporting? Like I know we say sporting is like if you love sport, you love sport, but it's arousal sometimes how good it is.
And the goosebumps, the tingles. Few notable mentions before I get to my goat. And these are
Okay.
personal ones. Andrew Simons, the late Andrew Simons. Loved him.
R.I.P.
Yeah, fantastic fielder. Just a genuine all-round cricketer. Like,
Yeah.
absolute legend. The reason that I went through so much zinc growing up playing cricket was because of that,
you
man.
did. You loved your zinc.
Back in the day when I'd put the white zinc on my lips, and back then I used to smoke, I'd have these yellow teeth coming out through the zinc. Mate, Ricky Ponting. Can't go past Ricky Ponting. Great.
One of my favourite of all time, Ricky.
Great game on
Ricky
the
Ponting
PlayStation.
Yeah, one of the best video games. Yep.
One more notable mention, probably Sluggy. Sluggy was a good cricketer. Could field. Could field.
I mean, Chad.
Could field that bastard.
I'll tell you what, he could bowl too. He could bowl, but that's enough about literally first to third grade cricketers of Maitland League. People are listening to this out going, who the hell is that?
My goat, very biased, being Aussie, can't go past Shane Warne.
Thank God you said it.
The late,
Thank
the great.
God, Scotty.
Warney. Shane Keith Warne. 100%. Yeah.
Hail the great man. Hail Warney. Hail Warney.
So might have been controversial, but that's my 5.
Bill Laurie is loving that answer.
Who's your goat?
I'd have to say Warne too. I think he's just he changed the game of cricket. Like, I think another one you'd have to give a notable mention would be Murali, just on the fact of how many wickets he got.
100%. I told you I went
Alan Border would be another one that I'd say gets notable mention, just given the fact of how tough it was. And I think you would basically you put down every single one of the West Indian fast bowlers that decided to take the ball. Like, they could have all taken the ball at any point. They were all scary as all hell. They're all getting notable mentions because I'm scared.
That's fair.
But yeah, I think Warney's the best. He was the best on, and he was even better off the field. Because I think about, I don't know if you've got any on the top of your minds, but I go back to thinking, all right, let's just say Shane Warne, greatest cricketer of all time. What were your biggest moments of him? So one of mine was when he had the stump and he's doing the dance after winning the Ashes. Like, what an amazing, that was such a funny dance to celebrate that.
Just the fact that the guy was a professional athlete with the I guess the rig he had, and had absolutely it wouldn't even, give it a second thought. If he wanted a cigarette, he'd spark up. It's, like that. If that's not the epitome of going against, I guess, an athlete, I don't know what is.
Have you ever met Shane Warne in the wild?
No. I do know you have, haven't you?
I have got a cracking Shane Warne story. Should I share it?
Yeah, you should. We're not tarnishing anyone's image. Or anything
and it's not like I'm saying this about Ricky Ponting, who's a married man who's got the credentials and just a fantastic family man who does lots for charity. This is Shane Warne.
You called me the minute he walked away. You called me. I'll remember this forever. Go, share it.
So it's probably 15 years ago. It's at the back end of Warney's career, but he was still definitely playing. Like, it was the back end of his career. I can't remember whether it was after his test run / as he started to become a one day T20 sort of player, but he was still definitely playing. So he was looking good, but he was not like Liz Hurley-esque Warne, like thin. He wasn't that thin.
Gotcha.
So I was living in Melbourne, working in radio in Melbourne, and I had a big night at the Crown Casino. I can't remember why I was there. It might have been just a random night out, and I would have been coming out of the gates, because the problem with the Crown Casino is you could come out of there anytime. You don't know what time it is. So I was coming out. I would have been about 2 or 3 in the morning, I'd say, maybe even later. And as I'm walking out through the Crown, there's this massive auditorium that you kind of walk through. And that's where they have the Logies have the red carpet. So it's a really big room. And it's beautiful and it smells nice. And then you get to the end and there's these big rotary doors that you let get out on the street. And I look through the rotary doors and I'm like, that looks like Shane Warne. And I get outside, and it's not just Shane Warne. It's Shane Warne and 3 blondes. And I'm doing the thing where I'm pretending to wait for a cab, but I'm really just eavesdropping because it was a funny as fuck conversation. So Warney's there, and he's trying to convince not one, not two, but all 3 of them back to his room. And you know how they say never meet your idols because you'll be disappointed? At that moment, I'm like, you absolute legend. Like, that's just made, you know how you just go, I just know that this is all the things about you are true and you are a beast. So he's basically trying, and unfortunately, Warney got dismissed. So they basically said, no, we're not coming back with you, Shane. And Shane walked back into the room, and I've had to do the quick, all right, keep walking like as if I'm walking out to a cab. And he come past, and I've done the whole Warney, and he's going, g'day, mate, and just kept walking, and he went back to his room. And I go out, and I'm sort of walking just behind the girls as I'm walking off, and they're like, oh, Shane Warne, he tried to get us back. And like just being the classic annoying girls that were clearly gaslighting the great man. But it was one of those scenarios where I was literally like, I was Hawkeye. I was, I was just flying above the pack, just watching this happen in front of me. This incredible Shane Warne moment where he tried to convince all 3 women back to his room and got clean bowled, middle stump, unfortunately for Warney.
That is fantastic. That is
One of the
absolutely brilliant. I'll never forget that story. Just the fact that you told me, you're like, just the look of disappointment on his face when he walked past you. You've said g'day, he's like, g'day, mate.
Yeah. He was pissed.
And that's why
he was so annoyed. He clearly dropped a bit of money on drinks. He dropped a lot of money on drinks, stuff like that. So he was clearly thinking this was a guarantee, and they were just gaslighting. R.I.P. to the great man. We miss having fantastic sports stars like him around because he is one of the best, and we love you, Warney, and we bloody miss you.
100%.
And I've still in this bottom cupboard, I've still got one of the Shane Warne magazines that came out after his death, just having all the photos of him and things like that. But he's one of those ones, so he'd be definitely the GOAT in my opinion.
100%.
Outside of Bradman, I think Bradman's got to be there. I disagree with you putting him outside the top 5, but if you go modern day, I get what you mean.
I was going modern.
Warney's the one.
Yeah. Mate, fantastic. That story was just brilliant. It never gets old. Never gets
Great
old.
Way.
You could tell that story every week at the end of our show, and I would never get sick of it. Ever.
It's a great way to end the show on a beautiful Warney story. Now, next week, we didn't get to it this week, but I have, we've been spending a lot of money. Well, I've been spending a lot of money at your expense and our podcast expense, getting people to perform as a band. Last week I got a big band. I paid a big band to make a theme song for us. I paid a dubstep DJ. I paid.
Is he still locked in your garage?
Yeah.
You better let him out.
I paid a Carly Rae Jepsen sound-alike, and they're all in the last episode 5. You want to go back and have a listen to them towards the end of the podcast. This week I commissioned a K-pop singer. It was actually a duo, a male and a female, and I actually also commissioned a murder rap version because I know you love the Insane Clown Posse since you were a kid.
Oh, wow.
So both of those will be played on next week's show.
Sweet. Fantastic. I look forward to it. I'm so intrigued.
Until then, please subscribe to the podcasts. Every sub and every like on socials, every comment on socials makes a huge difference. As you can imagine, starting a podcast is not an easy thing. So every like and love and message is hugely, hugely appreciated. We very, very passionate about this. We enjoy this every single Sunday night. So we're going to keep doing it for as long as we possibly can. And of course, you can email us any point, talkingsportreport@gmail.com. Any final words, Scotty, before we let everyone go?
No, mate. As always, thanks for having me. It's been a fantastic Sunday night. Our commitment cannot be questioned. It's a long weekend here, and we're just in here putting the hours in. Not even on double time or anything like that. But, mate, no, until next week, it's been a pleasure. I'll talk to you soon.
Bye.